Good afternoon, everyone. We're holding this press conference to thankfully and gratefully to announce to members of our public who have been displaced during these evacuations that because our weather event that came in yesterday did not cause the spread of the fire in a way we were very concerned that it was going to, that as of right now, we are reducing the size of our level 3 evacuation zones significantly. The information should be posted right now and being sent out over our Alert Spokane system over the next hour, detailing out the new boundaries of our level 3 evacuation zones, which will be essentially all of the areas directly impacted by the fires inside the fire lines that have been established by our firefighters, who have done a great job of keeping these fires from progressing from where they were earlier in this week. So I would like to have our citizens be on the lookout for those new maps coming out. I have also asked several of our experts to come in and talk to our community directly today about what has been done so far in fighting these fires, and also the hazards that are posed by people entering, the hazards that are in the areas that have been directly affected by the fire, and what our citizens need to know about why those areas remain in level 3 evacuation zones. And so I'd like to start off by having Tom Clemo from our incident team 7. He's the incident commander, and he's going to talk a little bit about the firefighting that's occurred so far.
Thank you, Sheriff. Over the last several days, our crews have been directly engaged in a significant amount of mop-up around all 3 fires. Nearly 1,700 personnel working day and night to try to extinguish all the hot spots that are out there. Starting this morning, we engaged in a program to basically mop up all of the structure fire locations. This is an urban mop-up. Every one of these residential homes pose a significant threat to the community, not just because of the heat, but because of the materials that were burned in everyday modern homes. We have hazmat teams, specialized structure crews that are out there with specialized equipment, positive pressure breathing apparatus, hazmat monitors, all of it to keep our people safe while we extinguish the last bits of heat in the over 800 structures that are out there today. This process will go on for the next 4 days, and it's really important to us that we keep you out of those areas while we do this work. To speak a little bit about some of the hazards that are out there and what had us so concerned and experience we've had on previous fires, I'd like to bring up our safety officer, Jason Dannon, to go through what some of those concerns are.
All right, thank you. So the specific hazards that are going to be out there are going to be wide range. So not in our normal wildland type fire, we also have the urban setting. So we're in our neighborhoods. You're back in those residences. So the hazards are starting with those trees, the burned trees. They might not be as structurally sound as they once were with some winds and changes with moisture on the ground. Those have a tendency of coming down. There have been power lines down in those neighborhoods. Power companies, utilities have been out there restoring those, putting those back up. So there's those things that'll be out there. So specific to the residents is follow those closure areas and only go to the areas that we're allowing you to go in. Those have been initially cleared, and those ones are safe for you to go back into at this point. When you approach your residence, focus on getting back home. The more distracted you are, paying attention to what's going on around as far as looking at other houses and looking for other damage and destruction, please avoid doing that. Get to your house. Do a quick peek of your house and pay attention to what's going on, of things that might be missed. Specifically, if there's a tree that got missed that's leaning over your roof, or if the roof has a sag to it, something that would cause an issue with your safety. Those utilities were all cut off, meaning several days your residents did not have. Some of those residences did not have power. If that's the case, your refrigerator and your freezer might be working again, but that meat that was in there with no electricity for 5 days is not safe for consumption anymore. So be aware of that. If doors were left open, there might be things inside your house that were not there when you guys left. So pay attention to what those could be. Air quality, just use common sense. If something doesn't smell normal, it probably isn't. And with that, turn your HVAC systems on, clean your cold air return filters, make sure those get changed out, get things wiped down and cleaned up to the best that you can. Your smoke detectors, pay attention to those. They may have been going off for the duration that you've been out of your home, so change those batteries, change them out, clean those. It's a general awareness of what's going on. If something doesn't seem right, it probably is not. And then we have lots of resources for you to ask for help to get assistance with that, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, thank you. I'd now like to have Fire Chief Mike Busey come up. I'd also like to recognize that we have other chiefs and obviously Police Chief Kevin Hall, who are here, who may not be speaking to us, but I'd like to thank them for being here and a show of support. I would also like to add that this is the team of people, and because we've had a lot of questions from our residents about how our decisions on evacuations are made. This is the team of people that have been coming together every day to make sure that we are doing things that are safe for this community, things that are right for this community. And so with that, Chief Busey.
Thank you, Sheriff. Hi, Mike Busey, Fire Chief, Stevens Fire District 1. A couple things. I want to thank California Team 7 for coming in. Their job is to get calm out of chaos, and they did that. They instilled confidence in us from day one, that Sunday morning when the 5 chiefs walked in here. And to this day, they still instill confidence in their ability to get this job done and the decision-making process. We've had the utmost discussions with them. They listen to us, and they take our advice, and we take their advice, and we work together to get this resolution out there. I want to thank Washington State Department of Transportation for also listening to us and working with us in keeping the road closed along Highway 291, but also in quickly assessing that road as well to make sure that we could open it in an appropriate time. I want to thank my colleagues, the aforementioned fire chiefs, City of Spokane, Tom Williams, Fire Chief over here, along with Fire District 9 Fire Chief Matt Vincey, Fire Chief Don Malone from Fire District 10, and Fire Chief Mike Noakes from Fire District 4, Spokane. The 5 of us walked into that room together Sunday morning as one. We stand together as one in the decisions that are being made, even though it's across multiple jurisdictions, even though it's across multiple counties. We are together in this, and I thank them for their work and their advice as we all get through this together. For the citizens, I want to thank you, not only the citizens of Stevens County and Fire District 1, but all the citizens, those directly affected by these fires and those indirectly affected by the fires. And I'm going to say this, that's all of us. We've all been affected by these fires, at least indirectly, if not directly. I want to make 3 announcements. We are, along with Spokane County, lowering our evacuation footprints. Those will be posted on our Facebook page and the Stevens County Emergency website shortly, probably by 2 o'clock. We're also going to be at 2 o'clock opening Swenson Road from Highway 291 up to Juergens. We're also going to be helping open Highway 291 in the Suncrest area, and I believe somebody will address later on all the way through into the city of Spokane. We know that's been a hardship, but it's been necessary for firefighter safety and public safety. We are now confident that we've alleviated those 2 issues. One reminder as you drive those roads, you're going to see fire devastation probably like you've not seen before. Please keep your eyes on the road. We don't need any more tragedies associated with this disaster. Drive cautiously, drive safely. Also, and you'll probably hear this a few times, stay out of the affected neighborhoods. Those people deserve peace. The firefighters deserve time to go through those properties and to make sure everything is safe for those property owners to return. Be kind, and be patient with each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I think that's sage advice. I will say that we're going to transition a little bit here, and we have a couple of experts with both real life experience and medical experience to talk about the hazards that are going to be present in these neighborhoods that were directly impacted by fire. It is important for our citizens to know that even though it may not look dangerous, there are very real hazards if they decide to go into those restricted areas outside of the advice of law enforcement and firefighters. We just had a team from the EPA show up today, getting ready to start their work of mitigating those hazards so we can get our community safely back into those affected areas. So first, I would like to have Denise Everhart from the Red Cross come up and share some experiences she's had in similar types of fires in recent history.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, everybody. For 15 years, I've been responding to wildfires in the West. And for 15 years, the safety of people has always been paramount, but the advice has changed. Over time, we've learned that the ash that falls, that the remains in a house, is hazardous to people. And so we really want folks to, first of all, listen to the advice of your emergency managers. Don't go back if they tell you an area is evacuated, for the safety of our first responders and the safety of our citizens. If you are in an area where there has been significant ash fall, you need to protect yourself. Going throughout the communities at the Disaster Assistance Center and more areas to be named, we will be handing out kits. Those kits will have Tyvek suits, N95 masks, eye protection, eye drops, booties to put on your feet so you don't bring the toxic ash back into your car, a tub so that you can put your belongings in the tub and seal it up for later cleaning. These are just some of the steps that we recommend that you follow when going back to your home. After the Palisades fire and the Camp Fire both, we saw people digging with their bare hands in the ash. That ash is full of toxic chemicals. The air, we can see how smoky it is here. When you stir up that ash, it's even more dangerous. We're going to include information in all of these kits, and it is vitally important that you take the time, you read the information, and you follow the instructions. We want people to be safe. We don't want long-term effects from this fire. We also have 2 shelters open. You can go to an indoor shelter at the convention center. You can get a shower. You can get a hot meal. You can talk to somebody about your loss and about the tragedy. Or you can go over to the other side of the fairgrounds. We have an outdoor campground where people in RVs, either place, American Red Cross and our partners are there to help you through this. And we have supplies there. If you want to find a shelter, if you need information, call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcross.org. You can find a shelter. You can donate your time. You can donate your money. You can donate your blood if you go to 1-800-RED-CROSS. But really, we've been here before in this type of situation, but this is unique. This is a local tragedy, and it's going to be all of those local agencies working together. But number one, I'm going to reiterate it again, follow the advice of your government officials and don't go back in areas where you shouldn't. And please, if you see a Red Cross vehicle or a Red Cross banner, stop in and get a kit. They're free. We don't ask for ID. We will give them to anybody. We just want you to be safe. Thank you.
Now I'd like to have Dr. Frank Velasquez from the Spokane Regional Health District come up and share some information.
Sorry, I'm shorter. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Before I start, and I want to talk a little bit about the reopening and also some of the thoughts that we need to have when we go there. But before that, I want to really acknowledge kind of the pain that everybody has gone through and say that all of those that have been impacted by the fire directly or indirectly, we have in our hearts, thoughts, and prayers. So as the sheriff mentioned, today's reopening of some of the evacuation zones is going to be an important step forward for us as a community. We really know how difficult it's been for people to be away from their homes for so long, and we're really happy to hear that some can actually return. I want to emphasize something, though. Being clear to return does not mean that every hazard is gone. You've heard multiple times, be aware of your surroundings. So conditions can be different from one property to another. So my neighbor may be okay, mine may not be that okay. We want all residents as they return to take the time to carefully examine all the environment around them before they proceed. For homes that are standing and have no obvious fire damage, you still have to think about smoke, ash, damaged utilities, and other hazards before settling back in. We all have a truckload of things in our homes, from chemicals to batteries to plastics, right? And when those burn, they generate fumes. It may look okay, but it may not be okay. Avoid stirring up the ash and dust. Please do not use your lip blower to clean the ash. Not a good way to do it. Use wet cleaning methods. There's instructions if you go to our website. If you see damaged electrical equipment or gas lines, leave the property and call the appropriate utility or the authorities. Do not try to fix that yourself. For homes that have been burned or have significant fire damage, and we know there's a lot of those, the risks are much greater because you have to think about everything that has burned in the house, around the house. Fire damaged buildings can be unstable structurally, walls, floors, roofs. So just because it may be standing doesn't mean that it's safe. You can have damaged utilities there too. You can have hazardous material and debris in the floor with things that you may not even see that are there. It is important to protect yourself from contact with skin, eyes, and from breathing it in. A lot of damage can happen to your lungs if you bring some of these toxic fumes. I encourage you to prepare for what you can return by visiting the SRC website and reading the special section after a wildfire information and resources ahead of time. Don't read it after you've been there. So please do that. The ash and debris can contain materials that are noxious and toxic, such as asbestos, lead, heavy metals, and a myriad of chemicals. Please do not treat fire debris like ordinary dirt or household trash, and do not rush into the cleanup. Take your time. If you're unsure what is safe to handle, get professional help or assistance. There will be a lot of that. If you're cleaning up ash or debris, and I've seen videos about how to clean your windows, and there's information about how to clean your windows and the siding with hoses and power washing, etc. But make sure that as you approach these areas, you're wearing gloves, eye protection, and appropriate clothing. Get one of those kits that is being dispensed for free. Make sure you're totally covered. If your arms are exposed, you may be exposed to chemicals that can cause skin conditions or rashes. So don't think that just because I can't see it, it's not there. Please remember to take care of the basics. As it was mentioned before, food may have been exposed to the heat, the smoke, or even some of the firefighting materials. Do not assume that it's safe. The same goes for private wells. If you have a well, make sure you're following the appropriate guidance before assuming that the water is safe to drink, because you don't know what could have gone in there. Our message today is simple. We're glad you can begin going home, but please go home safely. We want you to go home, but we want you to be safe when you go home. Take your time. Look before you clean. And when you encounter something you're not sure is safe, stop and get help. There's a lot of help. We will continue to provide public health guidance as residents move from re-entry to recovery. You can find that guidance on our website. I want to end by saying that If you go to our website, you will see a long list of issues that you should be aware of, which we don't have time here to go through the whole list. All I can say is fire is destructive, and what it leaves behind can be equally destructive if you don't know how to handle it or how to deal with it. So please stay safe, stay well, and we look forward to the day when everybody can go back home or at least be back with their families. Thank you.
I'd now like to have President and CEO of Avista, Heather Rosentrader, come up and address you.
Thank you very much. I just want to start by saying our hearts are with the entire community, as has been noted, has been impacted by this. And I want to also just thank the Incident Command, all of the integrated coordination that has gone on. We've appreciated being part of that to ensure that we can help get the power, the gas back on safely, and to ensure that our employees are safe doing that. And it has been incredible in terms of that coordination. So I just want to share that appreciation as well. A couple of updates on the electric side. We were able to restore the area that was impacted by the fires as of Friday, so all customers are back on safely there on the electric side. On the natural gas side, we have started some of those restorations in the areas that have been downgraded. With these changes, we'll be able to expand that restoration. Fortunately, again, with that coordination, we've been able to go in, regasify the systems that were turned off, and be able to do multiple leak surveys in those areas to make sure that the system is safe, given the wildfire could cause damage. But everything is safe and ready to be relit in that area, and we have many crews in the area waiting. We'll be sending out information for customers who are in those downgraded areas to be able to call and schedule those relights. We also have, again, we'll have resources in the area just knocking on doors, systematically going through the neighborhoods multiple times. So you don't need to worry. If you're not there, we'll still be there in the future. You don't need to rush home to make sure that you don't miss us. We will be there again, and you can call or you can just wait for our teams that are going through the neighborhoods on the gas side. We have, given the electric side, the gas side, and then vegetation management, we have hundreds of resources with our employees and with contractors that have come from outside the areas to support. We have mutual aid that I believe is on site now to help with those gas relights, and so we appreciate all of our peers coming together like we always do to support these tragic situations. On the vegetation management side, we have, as you can imagine, there's a lot of trees that have been damaged and are unsafe now around our electrical lines, and so we have many crews that we've called in that have the expertise and the certification to be able to remove vegetation management near our power line. So please do not attempt to do that yourself. We have crews in the areas that will probably be a longer term presence there with a lot of crews and a lot of work going on for a while there. On the gas side, we do hope ideally in the next couple days we could get customers restored in those downgraded areas. We'll have people on site in the neighborhoods from about 7 a.m. until about 10:30 p.m. Doing those relights, and just appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this. And also another safety note, please don't try to turn your gas on yourselves. We have our teams that are certified from a safety perspective to do that. So thank you again for the patience of all of our customers and just for the incredible work with the coordinating entities.
Thank you, Heather. I will close with this. While I'm sure we are going to have thousands of people who are relieved to get back into their homes, for those people who are still residing inside these level 3 evacuation zones, where it is still very dangerous for them to be in there, they may be wondering, what does that timeline look like? What I will tell you is our firefighting crews, our EPA crews, our health officials are working every day to get as many of those areas opened up as we can. We will do everything we can to get through these areas and make it safe for habitation as soon as we can. You will likely see changes, some days incremental, some days larger areas that will be downgraded into level 1 and level 2 or even no evacuation zone status in the coming days and weeks. I understand the frustration. People have been out of their homes for over a week now. That's a long time. And I know there's a lot of people who aren't sure whether they have a home to come home to or whether they know their home is standing, whether they're going to be able to inhabit it anytime soon. We are doing everything we can to get you back in your home as soon and as safe as possible. I ask for your grace with us. I ask for your patience with us. We really are trying to make sure that you can go home as safely as possible to whatever home looks like now. With that, I will say we will communicate openly and frequently about these zones, probably every day into the near future. So with that, we will take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Heading into people potentially moving into these areas, is there any plan for traffic management or control as how these people can get back into these zones?
Yes, we prior to us announcing these evacuation zones, we have moved our traffic control points back away to where the new fire lines are going to be. And yes, we are taking into account a lot of people moving back in. I know we've had people moving back into those areas because we actually moved those control points an hour or so ago. So we're just trying to have it be as steady as possible without people getting overwhelmed. I don't know that I know the number, but we had over 900 plus homes that were impacted by the fire. So it's frankly a lot of the more densely populated urban areas that are still going to remain that way. But there is the map that you're going to see is essentially the areas that were directly impacted by those fires. Somebody had a question over here, I think. Yeah, still more than we would like, for sure. But we just can't, in good conscience, say it's safe for people to return there.
Do you have any stats of that land area in terms of percentage or acreage? How much of it is now lifted?
We can get that information for you. And most of that area was the areas of 5 Mile and the Indian Trail area where, people assumed that there was a lot of distance between themselves and the fire line, but because of utility issues and the ability of the fire to creep into that area, had the weather event occurred like we were worried about yesterday, so people who are quite a bit away from the affected area, but we're still under level 3. Any other questions?
We saw some signs near the fire line warning about looting. Have you had any reports of looting? Have you come across anything like that?
Obviously, we've had reports of looting. I am unaware of any arrests for looting specifically or theft, but we have made contacts of people and made sure that if they didn't have a good reason for being in that area, they didn't live in that area, they were escorted out. And again, we did have early on in the first day somebody who was suspected of looting, but no evidence of that, but did have some outstanding warrants for their arrest, and they were actually booked. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any plan in terms of people going back into their houses who might look to do immediate cleaning in terms of safely disposing some of the debris that might be on their property?
Now, I will say, hopefully nobody is immediately returning to their house today to clean up any of that stuff if their house was directly impacted. Those homes are still in level 3 because we do need the EP, number one, for the firefighters to make sure that those hot spots that are in those houses are out, and that the EPA has had the ability to come out and assess those properties for that kind of hazardous material presence. And I will also say, when we do and we are able to safely allow people in for that, there are rules and restrictions about how that debris is removed. And just know that both the city of Spokane County are working together with Washington Emergency Management and the EPA to come up with the process of removal of that, so our citizens will know exactly how to do it and when to do it. These community meetings that are coming up over the next 4 days, that type of information will be there for our citizens. So I will say both the city and the county, both of our emergency management departments are going to come up with lists of people who are brought in to remove those safely. There's still scammers out there. reach out to your government officials who are doing this in conjunction with both state and federal officials to figure out who's doing that and who's not.
You spoke earlier about the predicted wind event. How lucky or how thankful are you that didn't happen as predicted?
I can't express how grateful I was to see not a lot of wind yesterday. I never want to relive last Saturday ever again in my life. And I know, unfortunately, we may have to, but just how grateful we are that things did not get out of control, and it really allowed our firefighters to do a lot of great work establishing even more fire lines around this fire. They got a lot of great work done yesterday. Okay. There are no other questions. Thank you, and thank you for getting this message out to our public. Again, updated evacuation maps are up now, and the alerts from Alert Spokane will be going out, but it takes, with all the changes from all the different evacuation zones, should take about an hour to completely get out to our citizens. Thank you.